Is it possible to create mandala without using any brush, just with the tools? So I decided to challenge myself and encourage you to try your best even if you are not familiar with brushes and strokes yet. And yes, it's possible. And this is the result. 15 centimeters or 6 inches mandala sunflower. So let's paint together today by using only tools, no brush involved. Please press like button, subscribe if you want to see more, join my Patreon channel, and let's start it. So first of all, it's covered with black paint, my base already. I will use this nice yellow tones. It's 2 of them. It's better to use both because it's giving like nice shadows, different tones. And with this one, I will create my custom color. All this in description box below this video. This one, really nice mango color. It's giving us nice shades of yellow also. As I said, with this one, I will create custom color. All information description box below this video, as I said. For 3 drops, I got nice 2 yellow colors. This Nuvo, just new one. It's a little bit too light, to be honest, but let's see what we can create with this one. And you see, it's much lighter. But obviously, we can still use this one. Much brighter art creation, so obviously I will use this one also. And yeah, let's try to create everything this time only with the tools, no brushes involved. You can use these ones with sizes or just these ones. This one really cheap, you can buy it and try to create your first mandala. Let's start it. Obviously, at the beginning, we need to make our base lines, marks lines that we will use. We are looking for the center of mandala. As always, I'm linking the video if you need more help with this. And every 1 centimeter, it will be circle lines. Later on, I just did the marks. And I decided to go with lines every 15 degrees. Step by step, don't rush. You really need thin lines. And yeah, you don't need to make it even too bright. As I said, I'm doing circles now, every 1 centimeter. I'm doing this pretty bright because it should be visible for you on the video, but for you, just you make do light ones as much as you need to be visible. And first one, let's create circle central mark with a bright yellow. You can apply paint a couple of times, but coming back with the tool again and again. Also, with a thin tool, you can shape the shape of your central dot, or any dot technically. After that, I'm creating with inside my first circle line, as you see in the video, I'm creating small dots, row of dots with my first and only one custom color. And I'm using small tool and I'm placing dots as close as I can, but not touching each other and my central dot. So step by step, don't rush. And be careful at the end so you leave enough distance for all dots, like that. The next row of dots we will create with the same color that we used for the central one, a little bit bigger tool. And this one, again, as I said, it's bright yellow color. And how I'm placing my dots. I will use spaces as marks, spaces between the dots we just created, and moving like that around, creating the next row of dots. Again, as close as you can, but not touching each other. And one more tip for you. You can create, do not mix dots, smaller dots first, but when everything dry out, you can come back with the same tool and the same color and place more color, more paint on the top and creating bigger dots this way. Just small tip for you. The next row of dots. Again, you can use these tools also, just changing the sizes. The first one, second one, this one a little bit bigger. Let's use this one for the next row, and I'll show you how you do this. The color is primary yellow this time. Again, I'm using the spaces between dots I just created and moving step by step, and now I see a little bit closer to me my second circle marks line. And again, leaving enough space, my dots are not touching each other. And the spaces between these dots we can later use and place, for example, small, nice dots between. But when everything just dry out, so we are not mixing our dots. Like that. Look how cute it is. And now we create bigger dots. We leave some space. When everything dry out, we come back with more details. So these tools also can be used for the bigger dots. So it's still, yes, I got all of those because I started from this one, but it's just a little bit easier for me to show you sizes when these white tools. So I'm creating dots on a line now and between my second and third circle line. The color, the same we use for central dot, bright yellow. So placing on a line and leaving one line behind and placing another dot. So my dots between second and third circle line from the center and on every other line. I'm trying to explain, but obviously on a video you can see how it looks like. And again, we're leaving enough space. When everything dry out, we can place much more details without risking to mix all of those. Like that, really nice. So what I'm gonna do, I will play around these bigger dots now with my first custom color. First of all, I'm creating bigger dots on the top, like you see on the video. Again, in my case, it's on a circle line. In your case, it could be a little bit up, a little bit lower. It doesn't matter. Just try to leave some space between dots so they're not mixing. And after that, I will use this smaller tool and create nice swooshes around, like you see on the video, with the same first custom color. And yes, you don't need to rush in this case. You're moving slowly. Try to avoid putting this on the top of each other. Again, leave a nice, even like small, like tiny space between. But it's not helping not mixing the paint, but also leaving this, after all, when your mandala is ready, these spaces between giving this like this effect of mandala when you see so many details, and it's so nice looking like that. Beautiful. We will place something in the center, but later on when everything dry out. And moving forward, I will use this space between my flowers, and I will use my 3D drops and art creation pearl yellow I will use. And what I'm doing, I'm placing two dots from both sides of the line and line between my dots that I just created, like that, you see? And this is not only from both sides from the line, but also inside my next circle line. Hopefully it's clear, but obviously on the video you can see much clearer how this looks like. And again, enough space between. We don't want to mix 3D drops between each other and with paint, like that. Next step, I will use needle, but you can use thin tool also. And you are making tails, moving your 3D drops. It's a space between the flowers you just created. Nicely, 3 drops should be nicely separated. And you see how beautiful it is? We'll place more details later on, but let's leave it to dry out. What we can do, while we are waiting, we can place more dots on the top. So I will use a space again between now these 3D drops I just created. I will use this tool. Obviously you can use your that are available for you. And the color I will use fresh marker. These dots pretty nice. I'm placing this on the next circle line, passing one, you see. And again, it's on the same line that we created these yellow flowers. And between 3 drops we just created. And yes, we leave in enough space so we can place a lot of dots and play around this nice fresh marker dots we just created. Next step, as I said, let's play and place nice dots. I will use the bigger tool. Again, firstly, I'm creating the just big dots on the top. In my case, they're going on the top of this circle line, the second from the edge, but it could be different for you. Just leave enough space between dots. And with smaller tool, I'm walking around with the same first custom color, like that. And we are moving and walking around this big dot, and we are not rushing. If you find yourself rushing, slow down. Maybe you're just a little bit tired, and it could be because to create these small dots, your brain actually working hard to concentrate. So take some rest and come back later on. So when we are not rushing, when creating nice amount small dots, at the end it looks really nice. I like that. Look how beautiful it is. I like it. So for next, I will play like between these dots later on with swooshes, but let's do more dots. I will use primary yellow color and big tool. So first of all, I'm doing 2 dots like on the top and third like on the top of these 2. You see on the video, but I'm getting like plenty of paint on my tool, that it's going down on my painting when I'm applying my tool. And you see I'm like doing really nice big dots. And my third like on the top dot, it's going like straight on this, or a little bit maybe on the top of my last or first actually from the edge circle line, marks line. You can see this on the video. I'm leaving enough space between dots so that my dots not mixing. And again, as I said, when you're leaving enough space between dots, it's really nice at the end. You can see all details because of the black base we created, like that. Really nice. And we're using just yellow tones. And last one. And after that, I will walk around with the same primary yellow color. The size of this big yellow we just created, like maybe 3.5-4 millimeters, if you are using other tools. And again, I'm using the same tool, green one, you see, and I'm walking around nicely with enough paint on my tool. If it's too big, you can easily remove until your paint is fresh. And yeah, it's taking time. Remember about that. I'm making my video a little bit more like shorter, so I'm speeding up it. So yes, it's taking time, but the effect is amazing. Plus, when you are not rushing, this technique literally giving me this meditative state. When I'm finishing, like I'm another person. So don't rush, use it like a meditation also. Walking around. And sometimes you need to take a break also to let your paint dry out, to avoid the risk to mix your next dots with the ones that you just created. And we're almost done. You see, sometimes when you're taking a lot of paint on a tool, it could be making like big and smaller. That's why I like to use these wide tools, because it's giving me different sizes. But again, if you are not able to buy it, you don't need to. You're not like, you shouldn't. You can use the same tools to create different sizes, almost different sizes, not like exactly different, but a lot of different sizes. And yes, last one. Look how beautiful it is already. You don't need to add much more details. You may wait until your dots dry out. I will move forward with this tool and with bright yellow, placing 2 dots inside on the top of last line, and moving my paint with the tool like you see on a video. You can start with 2 dots that you can see how you need to move your paint, but technically you shouldn't. And yes, this is so easy. You don't need to, maybe for the biggest space, bigger sizes, you kinda may need to brush it, but actually you can do the same technique for like even bigger pieces of art. So, but definitely for such small size, 6 inches or 15 centimeters, with such simple pattern, you can really create nice mandalas. You can see this on a video already. Again, don't rush. Get enough time to move paint, to make nice dots, to make nice swooshes, smooshes, strokes if you are painted with a brush, because these ones you can do with small brush. And the trick is, once you got over this scarcity mentality regarding smooshes and regarding strokes and work with the brushes, you may find out that work with a brush it's actually saving a lot of time. But this is for the next video. Yes, and we almost finished. Like that. It's really beautiful and so simple. Like that. And yes, we need to wait maybe until everything dry out and come back later on to add more details. So, what I want to show you, everything dry out, and I added some paint, as I said to you, on this first and on this third row of dots to make my dots more pop out from the surface, more make it more visible and obviously more nicely looking. And I'll show you how to do this with the second row. I'm doing this each other row to mix my paint. So yeah, you're doing with the same tool you used to create this and the same paint obviously, and carefully you're applying more paint on the same place where already your dot created. You can actually do this a couple of times, and in this case your dots will be more visible and popping out from the surface. So this is a trick how you can do this 3D effect without using 3D drops, for example. It's not obviously like the same, but actually really nice looking. And yes, do this slowly, so give enough time to paint going down from your tool to the surface. I'm using Art Creation 3D drops to put this on its central and create nice dots like that. I really nice like this combination. So moving forward, I will use small tool and I will use fresh mango color to put small nice dots between my dot on third row. You can see this on video. And this way we can work with the space between dots and making our mandala even more detailed and like more interesting for the viewer. Move carefully. You can remove if your dot you don't like it too big until it's fresh. And what I'm gonna do with no over dots. It's literally, to be honest, too light, like for me. But I'm putting this on top of this row of flowers we created, and we are putting 3 drops on the top when the previous row obviously dry out. And step by step moving and placing dots. When they're on the surface, these 3 drops looks nice, but without it being not so nice. But it's still giving this 3D effect, or like drop of water maybe. On this space between, like inside between my flowers, I'm placing tiny little ones, 3 drops with Art Creation pearl yellow color. And yes, really nice looking. The next step, I want to play with this space nicely on the top, not touching previous dots. I'm putting 3D drops. You can see this on a video, and you technically can leave it like that, and this is already nice look. Look at this, it's already nice. But if you want to add more detail with a needle, I'm doing small tails between up and below, up and below. And obviously in this case it looks a little bit more interesting, but you can leave it like it was even without this. Small trick, but look how it's beautiful. And the space is also empty, so I decided to go with my primary yellow and place just with the paint without using 3D drops. Just nice dots like that on this space between. It's technically below the circle line. It's not visible too much on this video, but on your marks line. But again, we're using space, we are creating nice details, but we are not overloading surface, you see? Again, when dry out, you can come back a couple of times to make your dots more popping out from the surface, as you did with central one, definitely. Like that. Look how beautiful it is. Beautiful. Let's move forward. We got some space over there. I also want to place Nuvo 3 drops over there. And also we can play between these dots. So when you're placing these Nuvo dots, they are nicely, especially on this, beautiful. It's look really nice on this fresh manga tone. It's more visible, at least. But I may need to look for another yellow tone 3 drops in the future. It's this too light, to be honest. But I will use this anyway. Why not? So I'm placing 2 dots like that. And with Thin tool or with the needle, you can move drops like that, creating tails. And use this way, you are using the space that left at the edge, and really nice details being added. So using this space, you can, because it's small surface, you can technically easily to put all dots like that, the row, and finish after that creating the tails. Again, you can do this with Thin tool or just with a needle. Usually, to be honest, I'm using needles to create nice thin tails. And we are moving material between the space between our swooshes. And I will also add small art creation dots between. I decided to make it a little bit brighter at the center part. So wait until everything dry out and remove marks, and your mandala is ready. Varnishes and hanging somewhere in your place. Hope you enjoy this video. Hope you enjoy this painting. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to my Patreon channel where more mandalas are available for you, and see you next video. Bye!